everybody. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob at Super League Malibu. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, deboer wetsuits, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Quintana, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest from Australia, Mr. Matt Hauser, joins us. How you doing, Matt?
G'day, Bob. Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
I love chatting with Australians. We go back a lot of years with Greg Welch and Greg Bennett and
Couple of Gregs.
Oh my God, Craig Alexander and Macca and all that. And so Macca really was helpful. Your dad was was reading Macca's book, sitting in a cafe, and Macca's sitting there.
Indeed, yeah, just by chance, and I think it was Malibu or Noosa triathlon, and yeah, Dad and I being fans of the sport, and I think I was competing in the junior tri at the time, and yeah, he managed to get Macca's attention, and he was reading his book by chance, and Macca signed it, and Bob's your uncle. I'm racing his series, 10 years later. So it's it's pretty incredible.
That is pretty wild. And did your dad let him know, hey, my son's a triathlete?
Yeah. He definitely he gave me a little bit of a pump up, and then it was about 5 or 6 years later, just after I won my third or fourth Oceania triathlon title.
Yes.
That Macca kind of slid into my DMs on Facebook and said, why don't you come join the best triathletes in the world in Hamilton Island and give it a crack? I want to expose the young junior talent of Australia to this type of racing, and here I am.
So wait a second. So Hamilton Island. So Alistair Brownlee, Javier Gomez, Cam Dye.
I actually roomed with Cam Dye. Actually, yeah,
one of my favorite guys. I covered his career. A legend, and just such a good guy.
Yeah. Definitely.
Did he help you out?
He did, yeah. He gave me a lot of tips. He was balancing a young family at that time as well.
Yes.
So, a few tips that I couldn't really relate to my life. But, obviously just such a great guy and such a bit of an age gap as well. I think that was 10 or 12 years between us at that time.
Yes.
So, a wealth of experience, and, he's been awesome throughout his career. And, it's sad to see him done now, but he's on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. Well, the cool part is when you're standing on a starting line with Javier Gomez, Alistair Brownlee, and you're going, who doesn't fit here?
Yeah. I think I remember actually being a bit of a smart ass and thinking I was
I'll take these guys down.
Yeah, I'll take these guys down, and then I think I passed Alistair Brownlee because I don't think it was 100% fit at the time, post Rio and everything like that. But I remember tapping on the ass and just going like, all right, mate, thanks. Let's hand over the baton now, mate. So,
did he say something to you afterwards?
Not really. No, I think he left pretty abruptly after that series. For him, it wasn't the greatest series, but no, he's a good guy. So
that is funny. But you finished top 15 there.
I did, yeah, and that was kind of my first exposure to Super League triathlon, and I've been putting my hand up ever since, and managed to have a good season last year, coming second overall just behind Hayden. But
yes.
It's been a great growing experience, being able to grow and learn, racing the top guys in the sport as well. So it's been an invaluable experience.
The interesting part is there's a lot of folks, and Sam Laidlaw was one of those guys telling us, just how frustrated he was dealing with the politics of, the triathlon organizations for World Triathlon, and you just end up going another direction. And for you, same type of thing with Triathlon Australia, or what's your relationship there?
I've had a good experience with Triathlon Australia.
Good.
I think ever since I grew up through the ranks and all the way back to like the National Talent Academy that we had in place, and that kind of filtered me through the system. And I've been with Dan Atkins, my federation coach, for 6-7 years now.
Oh, perfect.
We've had a great partnership and great friendship and mentorship. So from my personal experience, I can't fault them.
Awesome.
They've been great to me, and I can attribute a lot of my success to their support. So
very cool. And the Olympic experience for you, how was that?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Hey, like I was very young going into it. I was 22, 23.
Yeah.
First Olympics, and obviously a very deranged Olympics.
Oh, God, COVID, stay away from people.
Testing and just everything. It kind of took away from the experience a little bit, I think, not being able to see, especially my fellow countrymen compete in other sports.
Right.
And not having my family and friends there. And then obviously Australia not having the access to international racing leading up to the racing as well. So, it definitely made it difficult. And I found the experience quite anticlimactic, just considering all those things.
Right.
But I know that's just going to make Paris 2024 even more special, because I know I'm in with a chance to really do well and to try and win the thing. And, I'm grateful for the experience I had in Tokyo. And, I can't wait to change my, Olympic experience next time around.
So what is your pathway in terms of getting there? How do you have to qualify?
Well, yeah, I actually just qualified last weekend.
You're there.
At the
Pontevedra
Grand Final.
That got you.
Top 8, and I finished 8th, funnily enough. So I just scraped through, and it was a bit of a touch and go period, because I got COVID in Paris just before the test event, like the day before.
So you couldn't race?
Couldn't race, and that was also...
Oh, my God. And how fit were you going into that?
I mean, I was going all right. So, you can't say like what could have been, but
sure,
yeah.
you can.
You sure you can.
You
sure.
know,
we can.
you could. You and I. It's just nobody's watching.
Exactly right.
You know that you could have taken that race.
Yeah,
and qualified there.
It would have been a great race to be a part of and to experience the course for next year. But it wasn't to be, and I had to kind of struggle the next like 4 or 5 weeks leading into Pontevedra and trying to get myself fit post COVID. So, but I managed to scrape through and get it done. So yeah.
So while is one of those courses, obviously they're looped course, so you sort of know where you're at, but you have to be top 8.
Definitely.
You're thinking, I hope I counted right. I hope I'm not 9th.
Exactly right. And I had people like screaming at me like, you're 10th, you're 9th. Like, the guy in front of you's got a DQ, you're actually 7th.
You can't listen to any of that
crap.
No. Drives you nuts.
You just need to like just give it everything, and just every place is first place.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And coming across when you see the 8 up on there, you're like, I'm in.
It was more of a relief more than anything, because I know, like, being fit, like, I would have liked to be challenging for the podium and then some, but
you were still compromised from COVID.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but no, it was just a big relief, and to know that was the main goal for the year, and to get that ticked off is
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So after you come back from the Olympics, 24th in the Olympics, and obviously not having a day that you want to have, right away did you go, okay, I'm coming back? Because at that point you could say, I'm going 70.3, I'm going to go longer.
Yeah, it was either do or die for me. I think it was more of like an attitude change type of thing. Like, it's like I either 100% invested into this being my career and being a profession of mine, or I continue to half-ass it and continue to compete for top 20s. So and I knew that like the new wave of triathlon was coming through with Hayden Wild and Alex Yee and those guys, and Vasco, and super talented guys like that. So I knew I just did not want to miss the boat, and I knew if I continued to train and race the way I was, I would miss that boat. So it was a big do or die moment for me, and I'm glad I changed it around.
So Malibu is one of the few races on the circuit with surf.
Yeah.
You're an Aussie.
I'm an Aussie, and I'm on the Gold Coast. So,
and you're on the Gold Coast,
yeah.
And you are surf. You are totally. I'm
surf.
You got to light up have you been down there yet?
Not just yet, but yeah, I've enjoyed coming down there the last few years to Zuma Beach, and there's been a few waves on offer. So hopefully
nothing big, but this is a couple weeks later,
yeah.
Which usually means bigger surf, and it'll be 64 Fahrenheit. It'll be a little chillier than normally. That's
right.
good for you. Yeah.
I'm built a bit bigger, so I got a bit more thickness on me. So
I love that.
We can deal with that.
So how do you balance the whole World Tri and Super League?
It is tough. I think, we're blessed with such a packed racing schedule, but we're also burdened with the fact that we have to choose between some races at some times. So, and Super League and World Tri, they do their best to try and make sure there's no conflicts.
Yes.
So we can all race the series, which is obviously our federation's playground, and also qualifying for the Olympics. So that's a big important part of what we do. But Super League is also makes up such a fun part of the year for us, and
so fun,
and to see everyone like competing at their best, and it's quite cutthroat with the elimination formats, and it offers a different type of racing, which is invaluable to transfer back across to the Olympic distance racing.
Well, especially the amount of transitions. You have to become Mr. Transition in Super League, which transfers over.
Definitely, yeah. And every second counts. As I keep saying, it's a little cliche catchphrase, but it is true. Like, it is every transition, every little moment that you can kind of like capitalize on can make or break your race.
What do you look back at as your best race ever?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Maybe a race that meant a lot of times people will say, you know what, it wasn't that win. It was this race told me I could be one of the best in the world. It gave me that confidence.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, like coming back after the Olympic year, I got 4th place in Yokohama, which was like my first like really, really good top 10 at a WTCS. Was like really good, and it was over the Olympic distance, which I'd previously like struggled in before. But then, as you mentioned, it's the ones that mean more, not necessarily the ones that give you the victories. And I think Pontevedra last weekend for me was a big one, coming back from COVID and kind of being on the back foot towards the end of this year, and just showing that I can still take control of a race and have a solid result after what I've been through. So that probably meant the most, I reckon.
Triathlon's an individual sport. You guys are part of a team, right? The Eagles.
The Eagles.
Yes.
The Eagles, baby.
The Eagles. But that changes the whole dynamic, right? Because it's like if you're not quite having your day, you care about how the other guys are doing. Because the team dollars, if the team does well, you do well.
Yeah, it's decent pay pocket at the end of the day, mate.
Exactly, right.
Obviously you want your teammates to do well, maybe do well behind you as well. Like, if you can beat them and they still do well, it's a perfect race. But it does add a different dynamic, and I think Tim Don really does well with the Eagles. He's the best manager out there. I know I'm biased, but
he's such a student of the game.
He's a student of the game.
He knows every detail.
Yeah, right? And he rides the wave, and he rides every inch of that course with you as well. So I think it's great to have him on our side, and he just definitely gets the pump ups in the pre-team meetings as well. So that's kind of cool to be a part of. And it's a nice friendly atmosphere. And then obviously you get to work on course.
Right. And then, so you've been here for Malibu the last couple of years?
Last 2 years, yeah.
So it's eliminator format. And but we haven't really had the surf that hopefully we'll have this year. That will help you a lot.
Fingers crossed, yeah. I think we can really do some damage like the top swimmers. And we can put the guys like Hayden and Alex on the back foot.
Put them in the back, yeah.
Put them in the back.
Let them chase.
Like we did in Pontevedra. I think that was one of the first times we really saw them struggle in a race, and it's nice to see that they're human and they can be exposed like everyone else. So
I was just looking at the results from Pontevedra. Wasn't it like a 3-person sprint?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
it's crazy, and the crowds were just phenomenal.
Right?
So, yeah.
Well, especially after dealing with COVID and being at the Olympic, there was some crowd out there, but having crowds back like Hamburg and some of these other races, epic, right?
Epic, so epic, and I think Paris is just going to be
off the hook,
unbelievable. Because I know in Toulouse Super League, a month or two ago, it was incredible. So the French crowds really get behind you. So yeah.
And 30 to 32 Olympics, because how old are you now?
I am 25, and in 32 I'll be 34. So it's doable. It's
totally doable.
It's doable. So I mean,
and how the home country,
Flora Duffy is like what?
112. No, Flora's in 30 somewhere.
Yeah. So it's doable, and I mean, the promise of a home Olympics could be something quite special. So
yeah, exactly.
I think if I still have a love for the sport and my body hasn't broken down by then, I could probably push on in amongst a bit of 70.3.
I was going to say you will move and do some of the 70.3s.
Yeah. I could see myself doing something like that.
You haven't done one yet.
No, I haven't, but I'm jumping on the TT bike for the first time in the Noosa Triathlon at the end of this year. So shout out to Specialized for giving me that, and we can see how we go with that, and maybe fire a spark in me for the long course. But
well, it's going to be fascinating after Paris, the number of folks who are going to be coming over.
Transition over, yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, you've seen Leo Bergère came over and he's won 2 70.3s in 2 starts.
And Martin Van Riel, who's like the world record holder for 70.3.
Yeah,
so we're coming. The short course guys are coming.
so all you long course guys, you better enjoy this next year.
Better watch out.
You better enjoy this next year, because
except for Sam Lalo, you're good, mate. You're good. Don't worry, mate. You're good.
Were you impressed with his race in Nice?
Very impressed. Yeah. No, it was a full day of watching for me, and it helped being in Europe in the same time zone for once as well while it was going on, and it was very impressive to see what he did, and especially the kind of comeback he made after the injury and the illness that he had. So yeah, shout out to those.
You know what I love is the fact that last year he gets off the bike and runs 2:44.
Yeah.
Race is over. He's got it, right? And then Gustav runs 2:36, breaks the run course, shatters the bike course record. And so if he had run, and he loses by 2 minutes. If he had run 2:42, he wins the race. Or if Gustav had run 2:38, he wins the race. This year he comes back and he runs 2:41. And he wins the race.
He knows he needs to do that to win.
He knows he needs to do it to win. And he did exactly what he had to do to win. I love that. And last year, all he can do is tip his hat and say, hey, I had best race ever. And Gustav just beat me on a day. Yeah. And that's always nice when you have a race like that.
It's cool. Yeah. That's why we love triathlon.
It's the best sport, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so cool. The chance meeting with your dad in Mecca led to you doing Super League. And so much of what you've accomplished started there at Super League and at Hamilton Island.
I think so, yeah. And just see it, the exposure at such a young age to that type of, racing and, intense formats.
Right.
And, you're competing against the best in the world. I mean, I raced Super League before I raced any WTCS or World Cups or anything like that. So that was my first real exposure. And, it's been a mainstay in my calendar ever since.
I love it. Hey, such a treat to get to meet you. I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing this next few years.
Thanks, Bob.
Like you said, you guys are coming.
Pleasure, mate. Yeah. Thank you very much for having me and bring on the waves this weekend.
The bigger the better.
Bigger the better. Exactly right.
Matt Hauser has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob. We are at Super League Malibu. Hold on. We'll be right back.